Hi everybody and welcome back to Exotics of the World TV. Now in this episode we're going to take you through like some of the behind the scenes kind of stuff. So it's going to be an ever so short little episode, maybe 5-10 minutes or so long. Haven't really thought that far ahead. But we're going to show you the side of the rescue and rehoming that we do. So yesterday we had somebody phone up. They work for a like house clearance kind of like company and stuff, and they stumbled across a gecko in an enclosure. So they asked if they could bring it in, etc., etc. Yeah, sure, no problem. Because we do quite a lot of like rescue and rehoming, so no worries on that. Now, I'm going to show you the setup, and I'm also going to show you the state of the animal. So just warn you, it is a little bit distressing. So just take that like into consideration. But yeah, here we go. I'll crack on and show you. So this is the setup that we got from the person that did the house clearance. So it's around 45 centimeters long. Haven't checked the depth or the height, but there is a adult leopard gecko that lives in here. Now, before obviously I show you like the contents, the inside and stuff, so let's have a look at like the hardware, so the heating and lighting, or lack thereof. So in terms of heating, it's just got a standard Habistat classic mat stat with a obviously a heat mat in the side. You can see the probe right there. There we go. But yeah, so this is the enclosure. So one of the flip lid ones. Yeah, I'm not a massive fan of these, to be quite honest. So I'll just pop that through over there. There we go. So this is what the leopard gecko essentially has lived in. Now, we don't know the exact age of the leopard gecko at all, but it's definitely like a subadult, adult, there or thereabouts. So it hasn't got a lot in there. I mean, it's got 2 hides, which I suppose is a thing, but there's no human hide or anything like that. It's just got this like tiny little piece of foliage in there. Yeah, not good. The animal has not got access to UVB. This is a complete incorrect setup for a leopard gecko. Now, realistically, what we typically expect for a leopard gecko is a lot bigger than this, and some access to UVB as well, and as well some appropriate heating. Now, these types of kits are quite readily available on the market. However, these types of setups are not something that we typically recommend for long-term use housing your geckos in. I mean, I personally don't really like housing even like babies and stuff like that in there, but that's just my personal preference. I mean, for a short amount of time, I suppose you could, but realistically, once you've obviously forked out for an enclosure like that, you're going to be forking out more, because a lot of the equipment that you're going to be moving over into like the more appropriate size enclosures, you can't really take it with you. So back to the enclosure. So bear in mind, we have essentially not touched this. I mean, we've added food and stuff in there for the gecko that it absolutely mullered. Now, we're going to keep it in this, and we're going to keep it relatively a long way away from the rest of our reptiles. I mean, if you look kind of like over here, we've got some antibacterial stuff just so we can wipe down the areas and stuff. So I've literally just brought it out here for the purpose of showing you guys. Now, it's only got that. There was no sign of a water bowl or anything like that. I put a little plastic one in there. I've removed it just obviously so we can show you the actual setup. But yeah, so this is literally all that was in there. There's some pretty baked on fecal matter in there. It looks like calcium powder, calcium multivitamin powder, I think, in there. But yeah, no access to water whatsoever. Again, there's just one kind of like hide in there, no moss, so it can escape to like more humid climes or anything like that. Now, here's the reveal for the gecko itself. There we go. Just move that over there. Fantastic. So this is the gecko. So as you can kind of see, well, I spotted a cricket there. It's got some really bad stuck shed on its head, on its feet as well. And obviously that tail is a big concern. Now, we are going to be keeping an observation on this animal. We're also going to be fecal screening it for anything like crypto or anything like that. Just so obviously we don't pass it over to our collection. Now, in terms of a setup, this is pretty shocking. Unfortunately, it is not the worst setup we have seen for geckos. We've seen them come in much worse enclosures than this. Now, what our rehoming procedure is, we'll probably keep it for a little bit, get it all checked out at a vet's, make sure that it's absolutely in tip-top condition, feed it up a bit. We'll probably do some welfare assessments as well and handability, just to make sure that when we do find it a decent home, that like it's going to go to the right one, basically. So that's what we do. So currently, this little gecko does not have a name. So sometimes with the rehomes and the rescues, obviously, like they come in with names and stories and stuff. However, we don't have a story for this one. I mean, other than it's been like absolute crap in a terrible enclosure. But yeah, so if you guys are... You'll probably hear the frog in the background. Every single time I like talk, he wants to like jump in on the conversation. I've noticed that quite a lot. But yeah, so we don't have a name for this little gecko. So if you've got any name suggestions or anything like that, just for the time being while we have him or her, so we'll have it for probably around about maybe 4 months, 6 months, the tops, hopefully, and then we can look at rehoming it. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for animals, but hoping around about the 4 to 6 month time. But yeah, if you've got any name suggestions, please let us know. So you can drop it in the comment section down below. If you're seeing this on Facebook, you can obviously pop it on the Facebook Messenger, anything like that, really. But just as a closer offer, just before we leave, if you're thinking about getting like a gecko or anything like that, don't go for those kinds of setups. They're really, really not the best. And if someone's trying to sell you a setup like that and say adults can live in there for the rest of their life, I'd probably avoid them, definitely. And especially on Marketplace. Oh my goodness, we see all these types of stuff on Marketplace all the time. So yeah, but just make sure that the animal's got appropriate heating and lighting opportunities, and you should be absolutely golden. But yeah, that's just a little quick episode from me. Hope you've enjoyed the content, and we'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra!